Hi, and welcome to our Ohio Assessment for Educators podcast on preparing for these exams. We're going to start by visiting the website for the OAE, as we're going to refer to it. And that website is at, let me make this a little bit bigger here for you, www.nesinc.com. So that's the website that we're at, and that's where you should go to learn what assessment that you need to take, register for the exam, and find preparation materials. A lot of students take these tests cold without preparing at all, and we do not recommend that. There are some very good preparation materials that are available here for you. So let's go over those and give you a little orientation to this site. Make this small again. And as you can see here from the home page, one of the links that are prominently displayed, the very first one, is what assessment do I need to take? So make sure that you are going to be signing up for the right exam. And remember, if you have any questions at all, please come in and visit with a teacher licensure advisor in our office, and they can answer your questions about that as well. The assessments are all listed here. I clicked the assessment link on the side here, so you can find your area that you're going to be doing, like let's say early childhood, for example, and that's the name of the exam, and all of the tests have a code number as well. When you do click on the actual test, it's going to give you some information here on how to register for that. It'll tell you how long the test is. This particular one is 180 minutes. Its format, it's computer-based, they all are. There's 150 multiple choice questions, and it costs $105 to take. And it'll give you a link as well for preparation materials that are available for this particular assessment. So that is one way that you can get to preparation materials, is via the link for the test itself that you're going to take. Another is up here in the main home menu. So let's go back to the home page just for a minute. This is where we started at. Again, I want to make this a little bigger so we can see a little bit easier. And we'll go to the prepare screen. One of the things I've discovered from looking at the OAE website is that they tend to have navigation points off to the side. Sometimes they're over here on the left-hand side, as well as in the middle. But they all go to the same place. So again, if we go ahead and pick an assessment, this time let's pick middle grade social studies. And we want to find a study guide for that. We're going to click go, and it will give you 4 different links here for you to follow, and those links are going to be summarized over on the left hand side here as well for you that you can go through. And it has sort of about information, letting you know what these are all about and what the basis of them are. Again, and it repeats information that you may have already seen as you went through to register for the test. For example, how long it is and that type of thing. And this gives you some overview information in terms of where the test questions are coming from, what they're based on, in this case the domains of the content standards and the Common Core state standards for that particular field. Now each test breaks down into sub areas referred to as domains, and the framework of the test, if you will, is described here for you. Okay, so First of all, the domains represent each major area of content that includes, one or more competencies that you'll need to demonstrate within that domain. Here is an overview of the middle grades mathematics test, just as an example, showing you that, the assessment name is right here. This is domain 2 within the middle grades math test, is covering algebra and functions. The competency is being spelled out here for you, and there'll be a descriptive statement that describes that competency, and then an assessment area. So each exam that you're going to take has a framework for it. It'll give you the skeletal structure. It'll tell you, what is making up this test, so that you know how to gather your materials together, what to study for, and almost as importantly, what not to study for. If it's not part of the framework, if it's not being covered in there, if it's not one of the domains, then that's not an area that you should be spending any time preparing on, because only these areas are going to be assessed on these exams. So the first step then in planning your course of study is to be familiar with what that framework is. There are sample questions for each area of competency that you're going to find in the preparation materials, so you should be trying to answer those and review the rationale. And this will give you an idea, sort of a pretest, if you will, of just how strong you might be in particular domain areas. The third step then is to develop a study plan to focus on your studies, and we're going to spend more time in our quick podcast here about some specific ideas on how to do that. But basically it comes down to three things. You need to identify your resources, get a study plan together, and work with other people. Work with your advisor, work with other students that are taking this test. That'll be very, very important. So there is a procedure here that's referred to as the PQ4R. This is the suggested strategy recommended by Pearson's, the people who put together these assessments for Ohio. Stands for preview, question, read, reflect, recite, review. So first of all, they're saying we want you to preview and scan the sections, headings, and subheadings of the chapter, of the article, of the piece of material that you got together to help you study. Read it, preview it, get an idea of what it is. Write out questions for yourself then, based on the standards of your previous study material, and think of those questions as your study questions. So write them as you use the guide. Read through your materials, read through the chapter that you've selected. For example, you may find a textbook in our ERC that's appropriate to the grade level you're teaching, to the subject area that you're teaching, and you can find information in there that's geared to that domain and competency that you're trying to review. And you can write questions based on that information that's in there. The next R is to reflect and think of examples and descriptions that are provided in there. You can also think of your own examples from your own experiences, and then recite them. When you complete each section, check for your understanding. Can you answer the questions that you wrote down? Do you need to reread it? Do you need to follow up on that? So you can monitor your progress as you go through this by asking yourselves the types of questions that might help you identify areas that you understand well as areas that you want to study further. The last R is to review. After you've finished reading, check your understanding. Can you answer the questions now without referring to your materials? And this will help you retain and apply what you've learned. So whether you use this kind of study technique or one of your own design, the key to success is becoming familiar with the material that you're studying. I also want to emphasize at this point that doing this with a group of people is very effective. Research shows that the study groups are able to outperform an individual taking these on by themselves. So get together with other people that are in your class and need to take these same assessments and approach it as a group. You can share your materials, you can bring things in, you can write up your own study guide, basically. Now, the day of the test itself, it's very important that you follow the directions, that you listen to what the test proctors are telling you, and you want to pace yourself as you go through it. As you go through it, you will have the time being displayed for you on the computer screen, so you'll know how much time you have left. And you can flag things. You'll learn. There's like a 15-minute tutorial as you get before you actually start taking the test. You'll learn how to flag items for review and return to them later. But you have to respond to the questions, including those flagged for review during the allotted time. So time management is one of the big skills that you'll need to attend to in this test. And it's one of the things that we always ask students when they report that they haven't done well on the exams is, did you finish everything? Did you run out of time? Were you able to get through things? And many times that's related to reading skills. You're going to have quite often short essays to read, case studies to read, examples to read. You'll, of course, will have questions to read, multiple choice questions. So reading speed, reading comprehension is one of the baseline skills being tested in every one of these assessments. So reading carefully and not skimming is going to be critical. You need to make sure you get the right instructions. You don't miss any important information. Particularly in the multiple choice questions, you want to find out what is the best answer. There might be several answers in there which you think that might be technically correct, but which is going to be the best answer? You're going to encounter that kind of multiple choice question in these assessments. So guessing is okay, but guess based on some logic, guess wisely. Don't leave things blank. Put something in there. Use your knowledge as the best as you can to come up with as many alternatives as you can and to eliminate things and pick what's left. So not all of the assessments are all multiple choice. You're going to find some assessments, particularly the pedagogical based ones, are going to have essay questions, and they're referred to as constructed response assignments. In order to get all the points that are possible in this area, you have to answer those fully and clearly. So be sure, and particularly in these areas, to read and respond to each part of the assignment, because if you don't fully address the assignment, you're not going to get all the points that are possible in there as well. Let's return to the home here. There is some information more here if you want to move on and learn more about what to do after the assessment, for example. But let's go to this next page here. This is the assessment design framework for our example, the middle grade social studies test. Again, it's going to give you the overview. It'll show you on a pie chart, what percentage is being made up of what domain. These are the domains here. It'll give you an idea here, whichever works for you, percentage-wise or piece of the pie, what's making up what. Looks like in this particular case, half of the exam is going to be based on history. And the rest is, fairly evenly divided between 19 and 12%, it looks like, between geography, government, economics, geography, and culture put together. So these are the concepts then. These are the domain areas that are listed here for you and the competencies. All right? So this would be the foundation of the materials that you get together. All right? What materials, notes, textbooks do you already have? that is going to give you information for these time periods for these areas. This will take some time for you to put all this together. But to be successful in these exams is going to require you to actually dig in and do this kind of work. Okay? So it gives you a very comprehensive review of all of the domains and the detail underneath them. So this is what the whole framework is for you for this particular area. Again, its time is 180 minutes, and that doesn't include the 15-minute tutorial that I referred to earlier. On the next page of the preparation materials here for this particular exam, all of those competencies that we paged through last time, they're repeated here again for you. And it's going to give you some sample questions for each one in which you could answer them. It'll give you the answer, and while it won't score this for you, you can keep track of how many you got right and how many you got wrong. But it's not going to tell you, if you quote passed or not. So in this case, this very first one, which of the following sources would a historian most likely use to obtain information about the social and occupational structure of Atlanta, Georgia during the late 19th century? The correct response is census data. And so you can see here by this example that there may be more than one answer that would be appropriate, that you could defend perhaps in some way is a correct answer, but this is the best answer. Okay, so it's going to require you to evaluate those types of things. You can go through each one of these competencies. You can either scroll through or you can click straight to them from this directory over on this side here. So it'll jump you down there as well. Okay. This little navigation tool on the left-hand side is kind of nice for this. So you can go back to the home area if you like and start over again and pick a different strategy or review those things that we're talking about as well. Okay. Now, one of the things that are provided for you to help you get together your materials is a worksheet, and you have it available here in either a PDF format or a Word format. And so in this can give you a little structure, if you will. So let's look at this just as an example of what we're talking about. But it's a document that's going to let you write down those domains and then list out the courses that you've had that deal with those and give you some structure in which you could work with that. And you can get together with your faculty advisors to help you put these together as well. So again, you can write out for domain 1. These are the competencies that were listed there. You can write them out, fill in the information you know about the exam, and then here's where you can indicate, where did we get this information? What's the intersection here? And you can continue on with this, reduplicate this page, and do it for the whole exam. So this can give you a framework for your study as well. Going back to the home page again here, into the preparation area. One of the things that is available to you is that you can purchase a practice assessment. And many students find these very helpful. They range from $17.50 to like $30. So $18 to $30, let's say, is what it'll cost you. And it's the old standard online bookstore model. You pick a test, you go to it. There'll be a cart for you to fill out, and you make your purchase there. Okay. Another very important resource that is on this page, it's in all of the pages, is this video here, which I really recommend you watching. For technical reasons, I'm not going to run that video right now. It's difficult to capture video within this software that I'm using for the podcast. But it lets you find out, what you can really expect when you go and take a computer-based assessment at a Pearson Center. This is a very different kind of setting in which you've ever taken tests in. It's a very controlled environment. They have items, for example, like palm vein scanners to clearly identify that is you when you come and go from a center. If you get up to leave or need to be excused for some reason, they know who you are coming back in. They have some independent way of verifying who you are. And that kind of control environment really throws some people off. So I would think it's really worth your time. It's like a 15-minute video. And it does a very good job of helping you understand how to do that. One of the other things that you can do is you can subscribe for 30-day access to practice assessment beginning on the date that you activate them. So if you want to get a 30-day subscription to all of these areas, you can go through this sign-up process and create an account. And then you can just log in and start doing these things on a regular basis as well. So as you go through all of the preparation materials, make sure you're spending time on this. So that means that if you pick a date in the future when you anticipate your target date for taking the exams, you really want to work backwards from that time to provide sufficient time to do your study, to review your sample questions, to get together with classmates, and to talk to your faculty advisors as well, and get this really mapped out for yourself. This is a very serious, high-stakes investment, so we want to make sure that you do the best job that you possibly can. My name is Chris Murphy. You're welcome to send me an email, ask questions. You're welcome to give me a call, come and visit. We can talk about your testing experience. I'd be happy to help you in any way that I can. My email is chris.murphy@wright.edu. Have a good day. Good luck on your exams. I'm sure you're going to be great.